And I'm unmuted, and I'm showing your butts right now. Okay, with y'all. Hey, man. Is you live here?
Yeah, I'm live.
Oh, well, man, I suggest you get some newspaper, man, and sit in the middle of the floor. They didn't. Huh? No. I may do need for call.
Yeah, I'm filming Trevor. I'm filming, Paul filming, Dart filming, everybody got a film.
I needed to go out. And you always just put the video on I'm sick of it. Tired of them. Tired. They say they tired.
See, I came to this one too because I thought y'all would be over at the other one. I said, I'll just watch that later since the videotape and I don't want to see y'all. Now you're all over here.
Paul should be over at y'all should be over at posting things and I should be
I can hire all y'all to do that stuff.
Who? Hire who?
All y'all.
I don't work for nobody.
So I can't guarantee it's going
Shit, how much we talking?
$50 a meeting. What?
I know better.
How much you getting there?
I don't come out the house for no $50 a meeting.
I thought you was talking. I don't discuss in open meetings.
Right.
But 50 ain't gonna cut
50 ain't gonna hit it, man. Back in the day, it might have been all right. You couldn't even get a 40 ounce of a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, like in
Right,
1905, we could have gave her $50 when it meant something, but you paying $50 now.
Back in the day, you used to give somebody $5.
Believe it or not, we used to get $1,600 a day.
Oh, that's what I want.
Until y'all people started coming in and charging 10.
Listen,
Listen to her song. Somebody said no sound.
you see that bitch?
Ooh, what'd you do?
Can you hear it? Okay, it's song. I'm not sure what's going on. Well, probably because anybody started, like, they haven't started the meeting yet. I hope this meeting go by quick. I'm irritated today. I don't think camera. They can hear. Everybody said they can hear. Hello, sir.
Call the client.
Oh. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. It was like we wasn't focusing on. Yeah.
I really don't remember much after that. I think I turned around and talked.
I can't remember. Like I said, I was.
Thank you.
Oh, this is it. Pretty much everybody in the room. They new friends.
Roll call, Carol McIntosh. Joseph King. Linda Booth. Patrick Julian.
Present.
Billy Dancer. Micah Hutchison. William Harris. Frida Williams. Here. And myself. We do have a quorum.
Nick.
Okay, next item on there is prayer.
Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for another day. Father, we ask that you lift up each and every family that's represented here tonight. Father, may the words of our mouth and the meditation of our spirits be acceptable in your name. All these blessings asked in your darling Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Okay, next item on the agenda is Mark for the chair. I did a little change in the agenda this evening so we can get the business of the board together. One thing we will not, from public speaking, we will let you speak, and we will let you speak without interference. We will not take questions or anything from the other.
Papa messed that up.
Working on business, after the accountability board. So we would like for you to give it that respect. The same, we will respect you in the corner when you're speaking. We got some issues we need to get out of the way. And I want to get out of here and get these out of the way because they're very important to this board. And we only have a couple items on the agenda today. And we we hope we can get to you in a timely fashion. With that, I would go to the next item on the agenda, changing and approval of the agenda.
He said his phone.
It's in my coat pocket. Where about the coat?
And over there?
That's it over there.
What the hell is wrong with
Is you?
her? Phone is. He said his phone was ringing.
Can't stand that. That was my irritating all night, man.
He looking for his phone. He said his phone was ringing. Ain't nobody here, but he said his phone was
So
ringing.
you say I move that we approve the agenda?
Motion on the second to approve the agenda with any changes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? As next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. We do not have any minutes today.
Yeah.
It was quite extensive agenda, and Ms. Bill has been training this week. So she's not,
The secretary.
so she wasn't able to get together.
But she ain't the
So
secretary.
we had an agenda at the next meeting. Which we were saying the 22nd of this, but I'm like, before we get out of here, we might not want to meet that day. Because we already, this is the second meeting this month. So we will discuss that later on. Right now, we will start to get to the discussion. And I will, because of last week, I know some members had some questions, especially new members, and they didn't get the opportunity to ask no questions. But I'm gonna give you my take on position and on the communication we got from legal that we're dealing with a certain ordinance. Now, I've been on this board from day one. When we hired our first ombudsman person, that ordinance didn't exist. We never used that ordinance. We put together this board at that time, put together what we were expecting from our first qualification. Now, where this ordinance comes from, I do not know. As we were getting ready to hire, and we was dealing with H&R, and no time. The first ombudsman, now when we was going through the process of this ombudsman, that ordinance never showed up at HR, and it never showed up to us. So there haven't been, that ordinance thing had been written on May 2019. This board is not set complete until July 2019. Why our ordinance be put up and we didn't have a board, I have no idea. For saying that, I don't want to say ordinance do mean something. And we can't ignore ordinance. This ordinance is one that was never available to us at any time, and I've been there for 4.5 years. And that ordinance never comes up. So I am with that being said, and we're going to discuss it, and everyone there, they feel it, the board made their decision. at this point, I think the board had a right to make the decision they did. I don't see anything that could change that decision, not by the information I got and for my research. Now, I'm willing to call.
She's sitting right next to you.
I know who was on the board at the time. I'm going to call them, and I'm going to even call the ex the mayor, the city attorney at the time, and most of the council people. I can't find anywhere where that ever came for the council. I went back to everything I could, and that never. I can't find anything. All might have something showing it, but I cannot find it. With that, I'm ignoring that communication. Board have a discussion here and decision that we get, and I'm ready to let everyone chime in. I'm glad that we listen to each other. If you got questions, let's build up what we want today. With that, we're open for discussion.
He's standing on business. Told y'all he'd be standing on business.
So I have a question,
Oh, we knew that.
because I want to make sure I'm understanding what I'm hearing you say. There's an ordinance that took effect in 2019. The board was established in 2020.
No, the board, that was an ordinance that we received after we had voted on our budget.
Yeah, Patrick, here we go.
That was dated May 2019.
Are you contesting the validity of that ordinance?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And that's because you can't find where city council did the readings and adopted it.
Okay, I can't find when we came together in July 2019. That ordinance was never presented, never was available. This is the first time, 4 years, 4.5 years later, this ordinance would show up. It never showed up with HR. It didn't show up when we hired the first ombudsperson. And we did not use anything with that ordinance, never brought to the board attention. And it mounted this. But where was headed at and why we had no access to it is questionable. And we did what we had to with all the information we had at the time. It was legal at the time. So I had no well, I'm not gonna get into a whole lot. We have a discussion. I will chime in anything that is supposed to be as we discuss. Mike.
Mr. Kim, since we never received the ordinance, by continuing the process, are we violating the charter? Because as it says by the charter, like, not following these principal rules as done by ordinance of the mayor and council, are we in violation of the charter? Would we be? Can we approach the administration and the council to work with us on creating a job description that would fit
Well,
a more moderate candidate?
the clerk's gonna ask you to go back and see if she found.
Her husband is, he worked for Habitat for Humanity, they said.
She under the position. Wrong with it, it's never been signed. And I'm not saying, I don't have any, I can't say whether it was ordered, but we never had access to it. And I never found it on the website when I looked at it. And I do know It was not available when we hired the first conversation.
That part.
And talking to HR as we went through this process in the last year, that never been available. They never later presented. First time I saw this ordinance, a week and a half ago. And it showed up afterwards. And I have a lot of concerns with that.
Has the ordinance been published? Because it doesn't become effective until it is published. Do we know if it was ever published?
Well,
No, I
It's not, so.
explain published form.
That the attorney, look at the city attorney.
It has to be published for the public. You can't hold somebody accountable with something they don't know about.
Okay.
So it has to be published, so it's on public record,
Yes.
so people can read.
It's published. It's on the city. It's on the ordinance. I never saw it because I didn't know to click on new legislation. If you click on new legislation, it lists every ordinance that was passed since 2012.
When did they put it on?
Anything before 2012, you can find it under ordinances, but anything after 2012 is all posted under new legislation. So when I saw it, I asked Davina for it. Davina's the one that had to tell me how to go and find it. And when I found it, it's been posted. So it's on the website.
So Davina told you where to find it, but she couldn't answer your question on when it was adopted.
She told me.
Because it says right on here it was adopted May 13th,
That's what it's
2019,
showing. That's what
under
it-
Mayor Karen Weaver.
And I asked Davina, I said, because it was not signed, does that make it valid? Davina told me, she said, nobody has to sign it. She said, the problem is it's like a pocket veto. She said, you can pocket it, nobody signs it, but it still goes into effect after 30 days with no signature, after it's been posted. And so she said, that's why it says it was adopted on the 13th of May, 2019. So even though it didn't have any signatures, she said the ordinance went into effect. That was when the ordinance went into effect. I asked her these questions because I was trying to figure out, I thought an ordinance had to be valid. In order to be valid, I thought an ordinance had to be signed by the mayor and signed by the city clerk. But I found out that that's not true.
And you're right on those points. The point I have is who authored that? Who was the author of that ordinance? Somebody had to do that. Had to be through the mayor, the council. I can't find it. Nobody can tell me who was author of that ordinance.
Well, the only person who's the author of the ordinance per the charter, it says that the mayor is responsible for the job descriptions of all principal officers, which means that it had to have come from administration at that time. Since the ombudsman is a principal officer, it had to come from the administration in order to write that what the job descriptions are. So it had to come from administration because that's what the charter says.
Where your mama ARPA money come from?
I know what you're saying, but that's not your information I have. And you know, the ombudsman position is getting to be more of I never heard anyone in search of that make the ombudsman position such a priority in this city. Number one is nobody until a few months ago, most people in here couldn't even tell you who was being ombudsman. Most people couldn't tell you who the board member was on this board. Now, I don't know why there got to be such a thing to the city. A position that is somebody that's going to investigate you, that you take such an interest in who they are and nobody go allow to take that kind of interest in this family. Guy who you control the board. He was, something is not right here. So, and the idea of,
Stand on business, Mr. King. Stand on business.
so I would like to sit down with these board members here. You can probably take the chair, but I don't want to sit in it.
Linda's coming at 6, a little bit after 6.
All right, I'm gonna do it. So, I don't know, that's just my opinion. We all have an opinion, and let's discuss it and move on.
Ain't shit to discuss. She got the job.
She had her hand up.
Oh, that's it, sorry. Go ahead.
The first thing is this. Outside of all this stuff you're saying about an ordinance and when it was passed and blah, 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 Ms. Little meets the criteria before the ordinance and after the ordinance. Number 2, this board and this ombudsman's office is supposed to be independent of anything in the city. And the only person that is supposed to have jurisdiction over the ombuds person is this board. And it's in the charter that we have the right to come up with a description for the qualifications for the ombuds person. So it doesn't matter what ordinance the city comes up with, then we're supposed to protect the ombuds person from political persecution. So if we're gonna allow the administration to dictate who we hire, what grounds we hire them under, what the qualifications are going to be, then yes, we are in violation of the charter. Because the charter says for us to act independently. The charter says the ombuds person is independent of any city officials in the city due to the fact that she may have to, or he may have to investigate these very people. Okay? And that is why this board solely was given the sole authorization to supervise the ombuds person. Make the criteria for the ombuds person to be selected, to select the ombuds person, and all of that. Now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we have an ordinance that showed up that nobody knows who the author is. Nobody knows when it came into effect. Just like that letter that went out that somebody signed the Ethics and Accountability Board's name to. And we asked Attorney Kim, because his name was also on the letter, who was the author. Of course, they never could tell us who the author was. And he told us basically that he had to protect them, even though this person had doctored up some documentation. So here we are with some more doctored up documentation that has railroaded this whole office and board. Because Attorney Kim gave his opinion. And after giving his opinion, he sent another letter after that, after all this stink got kicked up, stating that that was just his opinion, and that we do have the right to hire and blah. All this stuff that we knew we had a right to do as a board. I'm like Mr. King, I've been here since day one. We haven't had, at first when we started out, it was an absolute no-no for any city politicians to get involved with how this office or this ombuds person did things. And ever since this board has came into play, the city officials have dictated to this ombuds office and this board, right on down to where the ombuds person office is. Now we should have had the authority to determine, in order to protect the citizens, where the ombuds person should be. We have not had authorization to handle the ombuds person's financials, with the ombuds person is supposed to do that. The mayor had the card. We had to fight him for that. Then it had to go to Mr. King. The bottom line is this ombuds person has never been able to operate in their authority. And now this board is not being able to operate in its authority. And what concerns me is we have board members, I feel, who are falling subservient to administrators, to people whose campaigns they may be working on, to friends. And it's okay to have friends. I have friends too, okay? Let's be clear. Flint is small, okay? And we all love somebody on the opposite team, and that's fine. But we took an oath as Ethics and Accountability Board members, and it comes with some strict guidelines. And it doesn't matter who you're friends with, what came up. My position is this as an Ethics and Accountability Board member. We don't know who the author of this thing is. We don't know if this even been approved. We don't know if somebody's just typed something up and slapped it on the website maybe. We don't know when this came about. Attorney Kim is a whole lawyer. The city of Flint has plenty of people to protect them and to support them. This board made a decision. It made a legal decision. And we were well within our rights to do so. And we chose. And now all of a sudden, because somebody's giving their opinion, now we coming up with all this old splitting hairs because we're too cowardly to stand on what we unanimously voted for. Okay? And we can't expect the citizens to have faith in this board when we don't have the backbone to stand up for what we decided. Now, city council don't know nothing about this. It just came from, they're saying it's under the Weaver's administration. Well, that's convenient. She's no longer here. So if I'm doctoring up something, I can put any date on there. Okay? So let's stop pretending like we're children and we don't understand how this thing could come up compromised. Okay? And the fact that somebody from the city, after we made this decision, just so happened to know where this ordinance that has never been seen or acted upon was, immediately, ain't that a big coinky big. But we don't have any other supporting information to go with this ordinance. Nothing else. But yet we're ready to tear the whole board down, violating Ms. Shasta's rights as an employee and as a citizen. I don't care what the mayor did. The mayor has selected all the people he have a right to select for employment. He got a whole administration he done picked. And we can't select one person, not one person, that we know, we've seen her work. She stood up for us. She's done her job. She's bent over backwards for us. And you mean to tell me we don't have the authority to give her the opportunity that is within our right to do so without all of this? We as a board, as adults, can't make a decision. You can't look your buddy in the eye and say, this board has decided, sir, buddy, old pal, sorry it didn't work out the way you wanted it to. Can I still have my favors or my opera funds without sacrificing the city or the dignity and integrity of the Ethics and Accountability Board? I love you all, but this is why I be so fired up, because I cannot keep showing up here, reading this charter, trying to operate within the guidelines of the charter, make decisions, hard decisions, and then every time I make a decision, or we make a decision as a board, somebody gets a phone call and, oh, here we come, scared of our own shadows, scared to stand up for what we took an oath and promised that we would do. That's my only issue with this board. Like I said, it's not personal. It's the fact that we don't have the heart to operate in our authority, but yet we keep showing up to these meetings pretending like we're going to do some honest work. If we were going to do some honest work for the Ethics and Accountability Board, if we wanted to show ourselves approved to the city, we'd stand up for our decision right here and right now. If this city had a leg to stand on, then see us across the street at the courthouse, because that's what court is for. And it's okay if we were wrong. Let a judge who is non-biased, who that is their job, let us know if we are in the wrong at this point. Because nobody in this room is an authority, and I feel like at this point, everybody is in their feelings, and some of us may even be compromised. Our citizens deserve better. So let's go to court then. Let's see them in court then. If we're wrong, then let them use the legal system and the ramifications that they have within their means to prove us out of order. That's it for me.
I can't even get a letter wrote.
Anyone else?
Just briefly in response. One, I have no idea what letter you're insinuating was put out there by someone on this board.
No. Somebody in the administration.
Oh, did a letter, and it looked like it came from this board?
Oh, this was before. This was a whole nother situation.
Oh,
the
okay.
Ethics and Accountability Board had received a complaint that we were addressing, and city council decided to get involved. The next thing we know, we were getting a letter with Attorney Kim's stamp or whatever on it, and it said from the Ethics and Accountability Board, like this was our decision or our ruling, and it was not. And it had never came before this board.
Okay.
So we went to investigating, and we asked Attorney Kim, did he know anything about this or who the author of this letter was? And he said, yes, he did, but he was not going to get involved and tell us who had actually, basically that's forgery in my opinion, had forged this Ethics and Accountability Board names to a document and was trying to make city council stand on it. So it's not like we haven't experienced these old type of shenanigans before. This is what happened when we tried to stand up.
I just want to make sure it wasn't anything that I wasn't aware of. But
let me give you an answer what really happened. Is at the time what chair at the time of before the council let them know that they had the power to enforce their own rules and over their own members. What came out was that the council acted on something that said that the board had recommended, and it came from the council. It was done on recommendation of the board, but the board never gave a recommendation to act on it. When we asked Mr. Kim at the time, is who was the one who wrote it up and say this board that recommend that, and who it came from, he took the attorney-client privilege, say he could not tell us who that was. And I don't know, and I have a problem with that. If the board is a sophisticated board that we have a right to ask for.
He sent a representative.
And this is the city board, and he's the city attorney.
There you go.
But that's what we had at that time. With it. And that's the answer. Which question you
And that's what I just said.
So I wanted to first get an understanding, but in response to what Carol is suggesting, I want to be clear. I think going to court should be a last resort. And we have inherent powers on the Ethics and Accountability Board that we have yet to utilize. We have the ability to conduct our own hearings, conduct our own investigations, issue our own subpoenas. So if we feel there's been some inappropriate interference, I think we need to do that before we run across the street to a courthouse. And that would be my position on it.
I'm not suggesting that. I'm saying that the city does not like the selection that we made for the ombuds person. I'm saying they have a limitless authority just like us, so let them do some subpoenas and hold some hearings and run across the street. That's what I said. That was my suggestion. Let the city fight their position, not this board fight the city's position, because that's not our position to take, from my understanding of the charter. But I could do that.
Can we ask our attorney who has been assigned to us by the city to give us some insight on the ordinance and what he perceives it to be?
The attorney assigned by the city.
Well, and I think we've kind of discussed this before. I think it's encapsulated in Mr. Kim's opinion, that his written opinion that he did to the board. But essentially, under the requirements of the charter, because this is a ombudsperson as a principal officer position, the qualifications and the duties, qualifications, and requirements for that position are established by ordinance, which is adopted by city council. It's my opinion that the ordinance that we've been referring to, this, I believe it was the May 2019 opinion, was properly adopted by council, and it does set forth the requirements and qualifications for the ombudsperson's position. Mr. Kim's legal memorandum essentially stated that because it's an ordinance that was established, that was created by the requirements of the charter and properly adopted by City Council in 2019, then the Ethics and Accountability Board does not have the legal authority
He worked for the
to
city,
not abide
shit.
by a legally adopted ordinance.
So
We don't know if it was legally or not.
He worked for the city. Yeah.
it feels like it's a two-sided sword. Because one side, it says that the Ethics and Accountability Board appoints an outside
On
person.
page 1.
While in another part of the charter, it says personal principal officers. The qualifications are set up by the administration approved by council. So what you're saying is our only power here is to investigate the origin of the ordinance and its application, because if it wasn't used for prior inbox person, why is it now being used for this one? And that's the only power we have, so we can't appoint because of this other piece of the charter.
Well, I'm not sure on the qualifications of other ombudspersons who have been appointed.
Well, we've had one since 2019, and I mean, if they've never seen it before in the other hirings, why wasn't this ordinance presented to the board when we first posted this position?
That would be a question probably for HR and Mr. Smith. I'm not sure
What the hell you
if
get
it was
voted?
given to the board, and if it wasn't, why not? But essentially, yes, the Ethics and Accountability Board does have the power and authority to appoint an ombudsperson, but they are constrained by the requirements of the ordinance. So the ombudsperson that's appointed by the Ethics and Accountability Board must meet the requirements set forth in the ordinance that is established law and was adopted by City Council.
And it's a question. Sorry. Could that be the reason why? And I'm just asking, could that be the reason why you didn't encounter anything was because Ms. Dorsey met all of the qualifications? I'm just asking, was because Ms. Dorsey met all of the qualifications that the job that the ordinance had already met and qualified, which is why it probably didn't come up. That's the only thing could that be the reason why the board never saw it to begin with?
Hell, Tanae only 30. Where did she work 13 years at? Shit. And was she working when she was 12?
We did the qualification that we took HR. Those are the qualifications that we used to have the first upcoming from Ms. Dorsey. That was within an ordinance.
What year was that? When did you hire Ms. Dorsey?
19.
That's wrong. The first ombudsman was in 1980.
Tell her.
No.
1980. First ombudsman was
Nothing to do with it, please.
And did y'all amend? The question is, did y'all amend the charter over the ombudsman?
No, we're not. We use that the board.
No, I'm just asking a question. Because this man
We're
don't know, you don't know.
We're not engaging with the
Oh, y'all just wasting time. If they amended the charter,
please. We won't interrupt you when you guys will.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Let us do our job. And even when we went out, I sit down with
What the hell is we talking about?
we sit down with HR. We go out the whole job description that we had put together back in 2019. In fact, I'm not going to go wrong. I think we had before.
It was 2019. It was 2019. I remember Art was at the interviews. It was 2019.
And I sit down, then let's get over the script.
take a vote.
Never was that reported presented, even mentioned, item one. HR had it. They did not present it to us when we tried to, when we sat down to do, try to make the job description a little bit more so we get better, get more, I see that. That we can get more,
Miss Little husband here.
that we took some stuff out of it.
Pastor Montez.
That's never presented to us at any time, HR, by legal, or anyone else. Why am I having that?
I told you it was 2019. He was campaigning.
Can you tell me when was that, when, you had information on when that was before council? So far, there have nothing really showing that was presented before council.
I don't have any additional information. It does note on the face of the ordinance that it was adopted on May 13th of 2019. When it was introduced, when the readings were, I'm not sure. That would be a question for Don.
What day was May 13th, 2019, Chad?
We made that vote, the same attorney that's sitting in here now.
Didn't say shit.
Sitting in there, and he told us that we were within our rights to hire an unbuzz person when we made that vote. Okay? The same attorney. Now, when Ms. Dorsey got hired, Ms. Dorsey did not meet all the qualifications, but because we had the authority to hire the person that we felt was most qualified for the job, and the job had been open, just like it's open now, we were searching and searching and could not find anybody. So Ms. Dorsey was the most qualified person and seemed to be the most dedicated individual as far as her training to step into this role. Ms. Dorsey did not meet all the qualifications.
She did have 13 years.
This board had to write, this board determined what the qualifications for the ombudsman was. Nobody else. Okay? Yes, HR sat with Mr. King and Pastor Gilbert after this board discussed what we wanted and how we would like to see this situation move forward. This board basically decided what we were going to do, got all our ducks in a row, and then Pastor Gilbert and Mr. King worked with HR and we handled it out. HR did not dictate to us. They didn't tell us who we had to hire. They didn't take over the interview process. Okay? Yes, we posted it on the city's website and we met all the criteria that we were supposed to meet per se the city. But at the end of the day, the qualifications were our decision. Who we hired was our decision. And it was a strict understanding that the administration was not supposed to play a part in that, and that included the city's attorney. Because like it's been stated before, the city attorney may assist us, but the city attorney's #1 priority is to work for the administration and the city.
Thank you.
Okay? Not for the ombudsman or the Ethics and Accountability Board. And the fact that this board voted on independent counsel a long time ago, but yet we have not been given the opportunity to see anyone. We basically having these guys from the city forced down our throat and forced to accept whatever they say, which often misses the mark once you go back and do some research or check around. Just like we received that letter that kicked up all this stink, and then afterwards received another letter smoothing it over. And oh, that was not my intentions, and you have every right to do this. But see, now look at what we're in, and look at the situation Ms. Shasta's in, and look at how she's been being treated. Now, we got several letters went out concerning Ms. Shasta from administrators and an attorney that is not even supposed to be involved in the process. We are allowing this to get murdered. This Ethics and Accountability Board, because we will not make any decisions without checking with outsiders first. And if you're going to do that, then there's no need for us if you got to check with somebody all the time.
That's true.
We should be able to interpret the charter for ourselves. We've been looking at it long enough. enough of us on here are intelligent enough, and like I said, I want to see outside counsel at this point, because I don't trust the city authority, I don't trust the administration, and like I said, as board members, we should be put in a position not to trust anybody. You're supposed to have all the tools and have all the avenues to go down to do your own independent thinking and make your own independent decisions, and I'm not seeing that that is the process that is being implemented here.
Make a motion. Make a motion.
Let me bring up something here. One is,
Make a motion.
first I'm about the person.
Can she make a motion?
There's no part in the road. At no time. Number one. And number two is, Ms. Dorsey was the most qualified individual that we interviewed. She had been, she had been a government ombudsman before, all the one that had those.
But not for 13 years.
So those things is, she was overqualified. That ain't one that dropped before the old board to interview. I had no hands in it. I was not office of the board at the time. Like I was not even. I was not even in the state when we voted for this. Voted for the office. I was there for the interviews, but not when we voted. So that's let's get that clear. Mr. Williams and Mr. Harris.
So, my thing is this now. Me and Mr. King did go before, Mr. Smith said these are the job descriptions for the ombuds person. No, it wasn't presented to us as an ordinance. We just saw the job description. So I said, okay, that's fine. My question is so then this board voted to take measures because the job description was so restrictive, because it's hard to find the qualifications of somebody like that in a city of this size. Chicago, New York, that's easy. But when you're dealing with somebody in the city of Flint, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. So we went there, and when the board voted, we made the modified changes. So now the question is this. We conducted interviews for the second round off of those modified changes. Were those interviews, Joe, I've got a question. Were those interviews null and void then?
I don't think they were necessarily null and void. It would be if an appointment were made based on one of those interviews for a person that didn't meet the qualifications, then that appointment would not be valid.
So, I guess, because what happened is this, we modified the job description so that we could get more people in for the job. So then when we hired, so when we pulled interviewing papers, they all came because we made those modifications. So that's why I'm asking, when those new roles came in, because if this was an ordinance and we made changes to an ordinance and we weren't supposed to make changes to the ordinance, then if those second round of people that were coming in with those changes, then we should have been caught in and said, wait a minute, guys, you can't make any modifications to the job description because there's an ordinance on file that prevents you from doing this. That's why I'm asking now, all the people we hired before, you know, even though we didn't make an appointment, but they all came through HR, they all submitted resumes and all of those things. Does that now mean that, you know, that was basically for naught?
What they got to do with it?
It has everything to do with it because I'm setting a principle that are backing you up, really. So just let me walk this dog.
The only other interview that would be covered would be, as I understand it, the appointment of Ms. Dorsey previously. And it sounds like, based on what Mr. King said, it sounded like her qualifications did fall under the job description. Now, what the Ethics and Accountability Board certainly could do is they can't unilaterally modify the job description. What they could do is they can propose a modification or amendments to the job description that then are presented to City Council.
Brenda Boy, how old is Tanae Dorsey?
Adoption of an amended ordinance.
Because I guarantee Tanae ain't worked nowhere for 15 years.
What qualification did she not meet? That's where I'm unclear.
This is really getting irritating.
5 years?
And there was another one.
5 years of negotiating experience on a local, state, or federal level, and mediation with that as well. That's what she was flagged for. It wasn't her degrees. It was the fact that she did not have 5 years of negotiating or mediation experience on
How
a local
old is
level,
Tanae?
state level,
Because
or
Tanae
federal
didn't
level.
have 13 or 15 years.
That's what they flagged
She was
for.
experienced with not 13 years.
But being a governmental employee is not the same thing. Even a janitor that works at the Treasury Department is still considered.
That ain't what he
is
said
considered a governmental employee. The security guy that works at the White House is considered a governmental employee. But no, that's what I'm saying is just because you're a governmental employee does not mean that you have that you've negotiated before a judge or a magistrate on behalf of certain individuals. Now, what I'm saying is
that
this.
Ain't what he said.
So I know that she worked for. I do know that she worked for Macon, Georgia school system. If she was negotiating on behalf of Macon, Georgia, and said, I was a school teacher, but I have negotiated on behalf of Macon, Georgia School Board with the city, with the state, and even on the federal level. I'm just saying that's what they're saying is disqualified. No, that's what they're saying disqualified. That's what. No. I'm trying to tell you, all I'm saying is that's the only reason why they're saying she was disqualified. That's it.
And all I'm saying is you don't know if she negotiated or not because I don't recall anybody asking her. And I've been here for all these things. I don't recall.
I wasn't at the interview.
I know it. So
what happened at the interview then?
We
You
hired
tell me.
her. We hired her.
No. What questions did you ask during the interviewing process?
Hey, you got to show up. I don't have to give you no recap.
Listen, Joe, when you go open up for questioning, people talk 3 minutes. That'll help y'all out a whole lot. Y'all let the people talk. Yeah, I'm talking to the board meeting. Hold on. Here's what's going to happen. We can't get this. I can't ask the question. No, you cannot. No, I'm talking to him. No, we're not talking back and forth here. Not in this meeting. Okay, well, when we going to have 3 minutes? If we're going to do that, I'm going to take a motion for whoever interferes to leave and be. Well, I'll leave, Joe, if y'all don't want me to ask a question. We're not taking questions. You can ask a question when you get it from the public. I ask you when we're going to have 3 minutes. That's all I'm saying, man. When we get to take care of this business. Okay, that's all. Okay, all right.
37, 38. So if you take away 15 years from 38, she ain't did it.
The thing this board got to look at here is we saw the application, and I looked at the application. I went back and looked at the application that I still had. Do this board feel that she met? It is a board decision. Me.
They voted on dirty shit.
If we, as I went back and looked at some of the qualifications of the ones that was said that I didn't see anything, at least in a couple of them, that they had any more qualification than Ms. Wood had. They should have been disqualified. And for the ordinance and stuff, and when I look at some of them, and I don't know why everybody's taking such interest in this, because I'm looking at position in the city of Flint, a appointing positions that people that are not qualified
Exactly.
by ordinance and stuff there. And this is a board that is separate, and while I can understand why there's such a big interest to everybody, that this board is here to keep them in check, is wild about a word about this. I am saying that, and I do believe in ordinances to be taken seriously. Opinion law, legal opinion be taken seriously. But in the case that we have this board, with the information this board had, I don't think it did anything outside the boundary. At the time they did, now, it's been voted. And I guess what we have to decide is we did everything by the charter and by the ordinance with the information we had. We did. Now, let's come to a consensus. I don't know how we will go about it. Do we need to close this down?
Hell no, put a motion on the floor.
Stick with our decision?
Yeah.
Are we going to keep discussing, or are we going to go another way? It's the majority of this board, and right now, I wouldn't somebody make a motion to do something.
All right, stand on it, Joe. Stand on it.
Before we make a motion, I just want to ask one question. Joe, if this board goes forward with this continuing with our own decision and voting her in, I just want to know, what are the legal ramifications that come against us?
Oh, God. He worked for the city. Shit.
Man, I ain't talking to nobody. Don't scream at me neither. Man, I can just say, oh my God, man.
Art.
I'm not even talking to him, man.
Art.
What? You just yell, man. I wasn't talking to nobody, man. Don't keep trying to be like that. Man, I ain't trying to be like that, man. I just said, oh my God. Shit.
Look, it's hard to hear in here, but 2 or 3 people talking. So please, I'm not going to do it to you, don't do it to me. But I am going to try to get this meeting through. I wear hearing aids and I can't hear what's going on. But back to you.
Well, as I indicated, a legal opinion has been issued indicating that the Ethics and Accountability Board, pursuant to the adopted ordinance, did not have the legal authority to appoint Ms. Little as the ombudsperson.
You just said that.
So, if the Ethics and Accountability Board essentially affirms that decision, that it's selected Ms. Little as the ombudsperson, then essentially it would be up to the administration, the appropriate departments of the administration, to respond appropriately.
Y'all need another attorney.
I don't know what those actions would be. For example, they could take the decision not to process the paperwork.
They need another attorney. Period.
Ms. Little as ombudsperson. I don't know.
He worked for the city.
But that's one hypothetical.
I won't nobody put no motion on the floor.
If this board challenge, the administration, I would say, already set a precedent that they have hired people that are not qualified in the position they're in. And this board having had a power to go back and investigate them and have those who
Make
and that's a breach of the child
motion.
and ordinance. And I can think of at least two I know, not with the qualification, that is set forward.
And I think that would definitely be an option.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
I think that would be an option if the board wanted to pursue the possibility of some type of.
Well, okay.
Mr. Dean, is it reasonable for us as a board to ask the city attorney's office to appoint us outside independent counsel?
Why would you ask them?
For the purpose of obtaining an independent second opinion on the board's action?
Well, and I guess I would refer the board to Mr. Kim's February 6th subsequent opinion on the retention of outside counsel.
You gonna ask the city to find you an attorney, ain't this?
What was that opinion?
We could resend a copy to the board members.
Yeah, because I missed that one.
The charter says we do.
I missed that.
It says
Right.
we have a right for outside counsel.
No. I know what the charter says. I'm talking about what was the second opinion of the council?
That we have every right.
Under investigations, he is challenging our right to kill this case.
He said we only have a right to hire an outside.
He
person
is
for
this
investigation.
It's an inherent conflict of interest if we have concerns about an opinion that came from the city attorney's office.
Right.
We are not asking them to reevaluate their opinion. We need an outside independent opinion. We need to make sure we're in the right. Whatever is the right thing, we know what our powers say, we know what the charter says. The charter and ordinances are always subject to interpretation. So,
Executive summary is,
Put a damn motion on the floor and get an outside attorney.
No, I didn't see this.
My suggestion is probably, there's a time when we need it. Probably end up that we can get this board in the right direction. Stand the board and let's fight for it. Let's just fight.
Stand on business. That's what I'm talking about. Mr. King done stood on business. He done stood on business. He done stood on business. He stood on business. He stood on business. Shut the fuck up. Ain't that what Papa told you?
We can sit here all night and go back and forth. I think we got a couple speakers here. We're gonna make sure we let them speak before.
What pissed him off?
I'm willing.
He said because it was just his opinion. So, it's just his opinion.
Suggestion of the decision. I'm sorry.
Is he crying?
I'm trying to find out how in the world did Mr. Kim say we only have the power to bring in outside counsel for only investigations. That limits what we can do. That pissed me off.
Okay, move on.
I don't know. Don't you tell me how I can and cannot feel without Carol. Now, on that one, you out of line. No, you're out of line on that one.
And I'm gonna say you're right.
And I'm saying you're out of line on that one.
I don't care
you
what
can't
you
interpret
say.
how I feel.
I said you're right. Now,
Yeah, okay, all right.
You got to teach people how to treat you.
Come on, you guys. Come on, let's go. So what you want to do? Everybody ain't gonna just be dragging me and checking me when they get ready.
Boom.
Don't check me.
I wasn't checking you.
Yeah,
I
Boom.
checked you. I tell you how you compromise.
Boom.
I didn't compromise on anything.
Boom.
So your suggestion is to do that, Mr. King?
So, Mr. Chair, I just want to read from the charter
Oh,
under
shit.
the powers of the Ethics and Accountability Board as it relates to the appointment of independent counsel when necessary. It is under paragraph C when it talks about conducting investigations on its own initiative, but it's not limited to those investigations. It says we can subpoena witnesses, administer oaths, take testimony, require the production of evidence relevant to a matter under investigation, appoint independent counsel when necessary. That's its own little provision there. Conduct financial and performance audits. Perform other functions essential to ensure the integrity of City of Flint government. And may seek enforcement through appropriate court action. So I don't believe our right to have independent outside counsel is limited to conducting an investigation.
And it's not.
Just saying what we got.
That's,
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that we seek outside counsel if the city chooses to fight us on hiring the city by the decision that this board made to appoint Ms. Shasta Little.
Thank you.
But it already decided.
She made a motion. It's a motion on the floor. His job is to ask for a second.
They act like they're trying to remove her, so I'm trying to make sure she can.
It's a motion on the floor.
Yeah.
It's a motion on the floor.
Okay, I'm sorry. Restate your motion.
It's a motion on the floor.
Restate your motion.
Okay, the motion, the motion, well, I guess I need to get clarity from the board, because the motion is under the terms of what Mr. King said, that we're gonna stand on our decision that we made for Ms. Shasta to obtain the position. So is that the position of the board? We already voted. So are we changing our mind?
Yeah, so you make the damn motion, man.
you make a motion. I think outside counsel.
I'm making a motion.
Okay, his job is to ask for a second.
That we move forward with
Quincy
giving
taught us
Shasta
that.
the job like we unanimously voted on. And if the city or the administration is not happy with it, we immediately seek outside counsel to fight this case.
Okay.
That's what I'm making a motion for.
Is there a second?
To oppose what we have already supported unanimously.
Okay. Ask for a second, Joe.
To move forward with the decision that this board made.
Okay.
When y'all had me come to that meeting, put it on the agenda, and had me vote on it, with this attorney sitting there saying we were in order,
Ask for a
and
second.
we unanimously decided to give the job to Ms. Shasta.
Is there a
If
second?
you guys are going to reverse on that,
Is there a second?
Are you shorten that motion up?
Shit. What's in here?
okay, I'd like to make a motion that if necessary, this board seeks outside counsel for all matters concerning Ms. Shasta Little's ombudsman's appointment.
If necessary.
If necessary.
We have a motion on the floor, I have a second.
All right, Pat.
Motion second to seek outside attorney.
Roll call. This
I'm trying. What I have is a motion to seek outside counsel to, as it relates to the hiring of the ombudsman, if necessary.
Yes.
Just kind of sum that up.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, roll call.
Motion been made and proper second. Discussion.
Okay, discussion. Okay.
No discussion.
Roll call.
All in favor of the motion to hire outside attorney. Our decision on ombudsperson position. All in favor say aye.
I think you gotta do a roll call.
Yeah, that's what we should do.
Yeah, do a roll call vote so I can see everybody.
Want me to roll call?
Yeah, please.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Stood on business.
Carol McIntosh.
Yes.
Michael Hutchinson.
Yes.
Patrick Julian.
Yes.
Linda Booth.
Yes.
Billy Harris.
Yes. Because there are two different votes.
Frida.
Abstain due to lack of clarity.
And
My
myself, my
motherfucking
vote is
glasses.
So that motion carries with one abstention. No nays.
What was the song?
That was yes, one abstain.
One abstention.
Okay. We'll move to the next item on the agenda. Budget.
She used to go to mine.
So Harold, I guess you have a report for your committee.
I do. So, we weren't able to meet with, myself, chair of the committee for the budget, for the board.
She
Michael
voted
was in
yes.
attendance, Ms. Booth was in attendance. Unfortunately, Mr. Shell was out of the country, so she couldn't attend. And multiple
Clack,
times.
you already know that
So,
ain't gonna happen. I used to
what
work
we
with her.
came up with is we came up with a budget for the board at $91,500. And what we came up with was $15,000 for training. That would be for us to send a delegation to DC, since DC.
She was looking at everybody. She
DC's Ethics and Accountability Board is basically shaped like ours, to sit in on their meetings and to see, just to see how they process and handle things. The other board that handles stuff is also for Louisville, and then we can also bring them in, and then also bring in outside training once we get new board members and things of that nature, and that matters. So that's $15,000 for training. We did $25,000 for social media. And in social media, that's a web page because we don't have a web page on the city website. So we don't have the ability.
Just give us the proposed budget.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's all in the proposed budget.
I know, but without explaining each
Oh,
line item,
okay.
give us the numbers.
So $25,000 for social media. That's with web page. That's with all that.
She just said it without.
For miscellaneous fees, we came up with $6,000. For a secretary, we determined at $25,000, and I tried to find out how much the city bills outside attorneys at for legal fees, so that I could put that inside of our budget. But I never heard back from what the city bills outside attorneys, so we couldn't figure that cost in. So that's where we came in with the $91,500. It is to be determined to be increased once we find out whatever an outside attorney will be billed at.
This don't equal $91,500.
Yes, sir. I didn't hear that.
Mr. Harris, did that include any communications for the board, like cell phones or anything like that?
No.
We didn't include that.
No, we did. No, actually, we did. That would come up under supply. That's what I'm leaving out. That was technology. So
Anybody know me know that ain't gonna happen
technology
at all.
20. Yeah.
They got 20,000 for what?
Also include training for the new ambassadors.
Damn, they need to go to
Because
cricket.
a lot of us have been placed in this position, and there was no orientation, no training.
We
You know,
can
the
tell.
council people, they select who they want out of their wards, and nobody gets training.
That's not
You
true.
know,
All the
it's
council people
actually,
answer that.
you know, the meetings shouldn't be this long and they should be shorter. I mean, there's a process, you know, that everybody should be aware of. And the main thing is, you know, to understand the city charter, which is is really vague, you know, because there's a lot of dark areas.
So I heard you guys say that you're sending a delegate to DC, so that's one person.
No, delegation. That's why.
That's everybody.
So the 15K, actually, they were increments. So social media, I just said 25K, but we increased it. We said 25 to 35 because we didn't know what we were going to get a pushback back. That's why I
So
put.
this is training for the entire board.
Yes. Yeah. Not just one person. This is the training for the entire. Forgive me if I didn't. Yeah, forgive me.
That's what my question.
Yeah, forgive me if I didn't explain that correctly. That's my fault. So yeah, that'd be training for the entire board. And the reason why I put social media that high is we would have to have somebody to manage our page and things of that nature. So because we were trying to do a workaround since the ombuds person doesn't have the ability to post to the city website, but it has to be posted to an internet source. I figured since we would have our own web page, that would classify falling up under that with the charter. So we tried to come up with workarounds. So 91.5 is where we're
that
at.
does not have a line item for outside counsel though.
No.
So are you anticipating increasing that?
Yes.
You just don't know by how much yet.
Yeah. That's actually, I'm gonna be honest with you. So I sent out an email to Attorney Kim in regards to asking how much does the city budget outside the city attorneys. That's where I didn't realize he sent back an opinion in regards to that, because that's what Michael said, and that's why he said I can't give you figures on billing for outside city attorneys. That's why I was waiting, and I hadn't heard anything back because I was waiting for the email to come back. But then when Michael showed me that explains why we didn't get the figures for what the outside attorney fees would be. So I'm clueless on that line item.
So I would like to throw in that we can make amendments if we come up short, but to not include it, period, I think is a gross neglection of our duties. I think we should at least include maybe somewhere from $30,000 to $50,000 for outside counsel. And then if we end up needing more, we can always go back and amend, but not to even request any type of budget funding for outside counsel. And we see the kind of issues that we're having. I think we're putting ourselves in a bad position, and I think we're not doing our due diligence if we move forward and don't even consider attorney fees.
I agree with you, but that's one of the reasons why I said we couldn't come up with anything because we didn't know. So I figured, I said, all right, let's just take this board and let's just see what everybody else may say on that figure.
So a reasonable rate for an experienced attorney to be anywhere from $200 to $250 an hour.
But that was the city building. Because I thought when we so here's the question. When we hire outside attorney, do we have to go with their rate, or do they have to go with what the city bids attorneys at?
You gotta pay a person what they say to pay them for their talent. I mean, if the city got a talent, they gotta say.
So when I was a city attorney, I required everybody to honor our rates. So you may have, like city council would get independent counsel, but they would have to agree to our hourly rate. But they could pick whoever they wanted to. But if that person normally charged $350 an hour, they were only getting paid $250 an hour because my law department was paying them.
Okay.
But that was back when I was a city attorney, so I don't know
That was
what.
how many years ago?
That was about 10, 15 years.
Okay, so 250, 10 years ago, come on, let's be honest, groceries up, inflation up, bread up.
But you can get attorneys that will understand working within this type of environment. So that's why I say you use a reasonable.
I've never seen it.
Well, I can tell you, I don't know, I pretty much Mr. Kim for that information. He don't want to reply back to everyone but me, but the council hired an attorney 2 years ago, and that information was given to the council that they had to hire at the specific page. why we can't get that information from Mr. Kim, but that's $250 if I remember right, was the rate that he quoted the council. And they had to have an attorney.
Well, or either, like I said, give a set 30,000, 40,000 aside. It doesn't matter what they're paying. If you ain't gonna pay over $250 an hour, you ain't getting over $250 an hour. It don't matter how much money I got aside.
See, I guess I'd rather see 25,000 for training and 15 for outside counsel or something.
Okay, that's fine. You know, that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. However we want to flip it, I'm fine.
I'm sure she can't vote on no budget.
You know, that's something we can't go with. So that we can just.
When is your budget due to the city? Your proposed budget?
Shouldn't it be their budget? Ain't it their budget? Is she a part of this board?
Yeah, this is a part of the. This is going to be tacked on to the ombudsman's budget and everything else.
When is it due?
In the March.
But then I thought,
Hold on, no.
end of this month.
Yeah,
Well,
I think so.
We're not going to demand budget, no, that is a council.
So yours need to be, go ahead.
It's got to be presented to the council first of March. So that is, so we're not going to make it in on the master budget, because I'm sure you already did here. We just have to submit ours to finance and make sure we get in there, so when the council starts, having to come to hear this stuff, our budget is there.
If we have our numbers, why wouldn't we send it to see if he's, we should at least try.
And this is the way we're gonna sit it, our plan, what our plan on doing now is having the board to set the.
Then let's finalize this proposed budget tonight, and we should get it up to the administration.
We here now.
Okay. I'm getting there, I'm trying to get there. Okay, so.
This don't make no damn sense.
Let's flip it. Let's make training 25,000. Let's make legal fees 15.
And that puts us at a total of.
With a number, no.
That ain't the ones you need to be looking at.
116,000.
What were the last two? 91.
15.
Let's do this, Michelle. Let's just make it even 120.
For what?
So at least that's us.
Okay, where do you want to get put the additional?
Right, you can't just say, he act like he won't
Let's
come.
put the additional forward legal. Well, that's going to be up on the supplies.
What kind of damn phones they getting for $20,000?
Just because you put it up there, your line items have to be what they say. If it's supplies, when you can't go.
You got 6,000 under miscellaneous. You're gonna add 4, we can make that as even 10.
10. All right, let's do that. So miscellaneous, that can be supplies. That can come up on.
And they've been in existence for how long? I don't know. I guess they people gonna call them.
No, proposed budget is 120.
Don't nobody want their damn phones. They don't talk about shit.
Budget committee, board for
We don't work for the city.
Can you speak up some? Make sure you put that in the,
Quit looking at me. Shit.
and make sure that it's.
Google. She getting on my damn nerves looking over here. Them
Make
eyes.
sure that it's separated, so we can spend it on us. If you lump it together,
Right,
then
you don't wanna lump it together.
is what they're saying.
It's separate.
We are gonna lump it together because we're gonna end up
Well,
submitting a whole budget.
Right.
But as far as this motion,
2 paragraphs.
separate.
Right.
This is separate.
Yeah.
Operational is separate.
And most especially,
So this budget is for ethics and accountability board.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah, we just wanted to make sure that, I just wanted to make sure that, you know, we were, that was the best bargaining start for the board. Because I wanted us to start high, even though if they try to walk us back, you know, of course they gonna walk us back, at least we can end up with, hopefully, so we got room to play with. And I just want to make sure the rest of the board.
Do you need a roll call? Or do you?
roll call. Let's do roll call.
She'll vote
All
for
right,
this
Mr.
one.
King?
yes.
Carol? Patrick?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Who?
I have to make sure.
Billy?
Yes.
Frida?
Yes.
Michael?
Yep.
Myself, yes.
That motion for the budget had been passed, ain't over. Now we can move to the old business, new business. And then come have an old business and new business.
What is public speaking?
Just, we need to, with the board's all right, to vote, we need to send
It's
a
public
letter
speaking.
to, Ms. Priest, to Councilwoman Priest.
Hold on, I'm sorry. I miss,
Public speaking.
Oh,
Shit, we done waited to hear all this damn time. Papa gonna whoop your ass. You keep.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Papa was about to jump across the damn
I
table.
didn't know it would change. I got it, my bad, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Always go open up for public speaking. Not hesitate. What I'm gonna ask, anyone want to speak, you don't let you speak.
See, I told y'all she wasn't looking at me. She was looking at everybody.
In the first second before you speak for 3 minutes, I will let you know that you're winding up. So we're gonna let anyone that want to do public speaking go ahead and speak.
My name is Wilbur Papa Jerry, Effie's baby boy. This meeting could have been over probably about an hour and a half ago. Carol told y'all exactly what it was. Now, the first ombudsman was Joe Dukes. Richard Dix was his assistant ombudsman. This is 1980. Since then, they have revised the charter containing the provision how y'all run the ombudsman. I appreciate you reading that to them, because that's exactly what Carol said. The ombudsman was created for to be the police department over the city employees, the mayors, and all of that. And if you read that, still in the charter, if they ain't amended the charter, mayor ain't got nothing to do with y'all. Mayor ain't got nothing to do with y'all budget. Now, the question I got, y'all send y'all budget up there to Neely and them, they got 5 votes, they get pissed off, said they ain't gonna give y'all no money. Then y'all, I don't know if it's a provision in the charter for y'all to challenge that. Now that's what Neely's gonna have against y'all when y'all send the money up there. Now, another question. Is y'all got any money in the bank right now?
Papa want to know where the money at.
Nobody never want to answer that.
Right. They know.
Okay. But y'all got money in y'all own account?
She got it.
They don't have no money.
Who controls y'all account?
I'm sorry, we ain't supposed to talk to them.
Well, why you talking then? Why you talking?
Public speaking. Carol, I asked Carol this since Sylvia don't want me to talk. I'm gonna talk. I ain't thinking about what you talking about. Now,
Sylvia's her sister.
y'all got enough money until whenever
April to pay this lady.
The buzz person had their own budget and her stuff is supposed to come out of her budget.
So what does she need with HR for? If y'all got your own money, y'all, well then if you don't have an HR person and y'all been paying all this time, y'all don't need an HR person. Y'all got enough sense to pay her money. That's the only, I'm gonna use this word, culture. Is that word? Culture, block. That's the only block y'all got with what y'all wanna do if the city council, which immediately got 5 votes, if he don't like what y'all doing, he can stop y'all money on any new budget. If y'all already got y'all money, y'all do it right now. But I appreciate you reading the charter. This committee operates by charter. All that they talking about a resolution, this man talking about he don't know this and that. That ain't nothing. He don't even have to be here because y'all got your own money. Y'all control your own budget.
And Mr. Papa, I want to say this. The charter says she automatically get $250,000 for this, and that's period.
That's what the charter says.
Okay.
Thank you. My name is Jan Marie Arbor, and it's a pleasure to be here at the board meeting. This is only my second opportunity to attend an E&A board meeting. And if you don't mind, I can hear you, which makes it very difficult for me to concentrate.
Check her.
But I want to, first of all, thank you for sharing so much information, so much history.
Them eyes is rolling.
What's been going on and what has led up.
She get mad, her eyes get to going.
Is right now with hiring Ms. Shasta Little. More importantly, I want to congratulate and commend you for your background, for sticking to your guns, for not allowing yourselves to be bullied, to be willing to fight a good fight for a person
When she
who
get
is
mad, her
worthy
eyes get
of
going.
her
I used to work with her ass for
You
30
deserve
years.
so much respect for
Ain't
that.
nothing right about
And
her.
that's something that this community has been looking for from our E&A board. So this is such a victory for you, and I am proud of you, and I wish to give you 2 hands on that. Now, in terms of some of the things that Attorney Joe, pardon me, I don't know your last name, Joe, shared with regard to the ordinance passed in May 2019 and the preceding ombuds person not having to meet that ordinance and its requirements or not coming before the board. Apparently, HR or whomever felt that she met all the requirements, but nonetheless, you weren't aware of it. So in my opinion, of course, I'm not an attorney, I'm just an individual with an opinion, that should not matter. The precedent seems to be that an individual was hired without your knowledge of the ordinance. And you have made a decision based upon her experience, what she has brought to this board during the term which she has served, and you have confidence in her ability. And I think that is most important for your decision and carries most weight. As it regards any potential lawsuit, hopefully that won't happen. Anything can happen, but at least you have the monies to work with should you need to hire an attorney. And know that the public stands with you. We stand behind you. We do not want an administration that is dictatorial over the city, over our E&A board, or over our council. Everyone should be free to think independently and according to their position as it affects our citizens and our government. So again, I want to thank you so much for all the fine work that you've done as a body and continue to do the good work.
Yeah.
Hold on, man.
All right, okay. Let's start out by saying February 4th, 2019 is when the first public hearing was for that ordinance. February the 4th. And if I'm not mistaken, for the second reading, it's a time period in between. And then they adopt it right after the second reading. So if it's February the 4th of the first public reading, I think it's the next following full board, full council meeting is when they read it again and then they adopt it. If I'm not mistaken. And I know it's factual because it's in M Live. The first reading. Why do y'all sit up here and debate something, man? Y'all supposed to be the ones got them scared. Y'all sitting up here scared to death. You asking him, he don't even supposed to be in here. He's fired. He was appointed. That's right. That's right.
That's right.
Why are you even questioning him? Helping HR shouldn't even be involved. That's right. The application should be going to the city clerk and then coming to the president and the vice president. Y'all automatically got $250,000 if they take it, which this lawless mayor will do and try to, because he's lawless. Ms. Williams, I really do believe that you allow your relationship with your church member to get in the way of your voting. I really do believe that. If you are receiving any monies in 501c3 or whatever from the city, you should resign because you compromise. If your family member is receiving money from the city, you should resign because you are compromised. There's no way that y'all should be sitting up here for 2 hours talking about something that y'all already voted on. Right. This mayor is lawless. His administration is lawless. Matter of fact, last night, the job description that they put up for the DPW, they took everything out of it. It's about 9 different job requirements that they took out of it. Changed the MDQ certification F and S, which is plant and sewer, took all that out. They didn't dumb down what the DPW person's supposed to be. They manipulate. And that's what they're doing here. William Kim is the dumbest attorney I've ever seen in my life. You got that right. And he's still alive. And y'all sitting up here going by what he says. Just like the metal detectives. They over there telling us they can do it. They put it in a summary disposition. The judge said, no, you are wrong. Period. Point blank. They are wrong. They are lawless. This administration, they paid, well, he had $700,000. They didn't even have a house to do. They can't even supply addresses. This is a lawless administration, but y'all hell-bent on going after the crying counsel that come down here every day instead of the ones that's really going after, the ones that's really doing lawless stuff.
Oh, y'all stopped him for that. Right, he done lost his train of thought. They stopped him for 5 seconds.
There's a minute left.
Man, okay, no problem. No problem. More public speaker. More public speaker. If not, then the board member would have, I don't know what
I would like to say, in all fairness to the attorney, when we first started out, we asked the city attorneys to come in and
Lord Jesus, help.
interpret the chart for us. We read it, but there was still some gray areas, and I think we even had to ask for, some assistance with that, and we went over it to Nate Dorsey. She got some clarity, came back to us. But in all fairness, we asked the city attorneys to come to our meeting in the beginning, and they've been coming ever since.
They can stop then.
Don't feed it that.
That's how
They'll quit coming.
It's just I just want to, explain, because we started out ground zero. I mean, and when we hired Ms. Dorsey,
Shit down, they made it to 1.
She really helped build us. Didn't she, Carol? She helped, we didn't have nothing. When I say we didn't have nothing, we didn't even have an in. We didn't even have a place to meet.
Shit, you still
we had
don't.
nothing.
Yeah.
It
We
was
had the
horrible.
libraries.
And And they found us so bad because they thought we were here to investigate those departments, but we are. You know, like if a citizen have a complaint about any of those departments, all the way from the top to the bottom to the maintenance department, we had to, you know, investigate ourselves. We did a lot of investigating before we had Tanae Dorsey. I mean, we labored. Nobody really know how hard we labored. So, you know, we just wanna, you know, do our job, have a cohesive group, the support of our community, you know, to get things done. And we don't want to be like city council. I'm gonna say it. We don't. We don't want to, you know, we don't want to be like city council where we can't come here and agree on things, because we have a lot of work to do. There's a lot of stuff we still trying to get done that haven't been done. We never thought we were gonna go through all this just to get the first time we got in the bus person, it was a smooth sailing, and she got us on track. But now it's just like pulling teeth, you know. And we did interview. We interviewed people. We even interviewed. I mean, the HR department even sent us a person who was an EMT tech. He was an EMT tech, and he had, you know, they spoon-fed us these applications. And the reason why it took us so long to get what we have now is because we rejected a lot of, you know, we rejected some, you know. Well, I was trying to be nice. We had to reject a lot from HR. It's like they were spoon-feeding us a bunch of junk. Yeah, because, you know, that, I mean, really, when I saw that EMT tech coming in, it looked like he probably was getting ready to go out here and make a run. You know, it wasn't even professional. I'm done. I just want you to have a picture of what we've been through. You know, we've been through a whole lot. You just don't know. And we didn't think it would go like this.
Amen.
You know, after we interviewed, we did it right. We did it the way everybody wanted us to do it. And then when we made a decision, then everybody, you know, still at us.
Amen.
You know, I'm used to being around this city. I've been in government for a long, long, long time with all the mayors and stuff. So I'm used to it. So it don't faze me.
Amen. Amen.
It doesn't faze me.
I'll do this. With in regards to all this issue, I don't know if anybody brought it up or not. I'll just say this. In regards to the issues with Doug Matthews, he was not selected. I'm putting it out there.
Okay, we like her. She said, "Yeah."
He was not selected, and so, and that transpired before Councilwoman Burns came and spoke. Nobody knew that we had already conducted interviews. Those interviews were conducted a long time ago. So I wanted to go on record by saying that, yeah, that decision was already made before her comments came out and everything else came out. So, and so I don't understand where all these comments are coming from with him in regards to that, because the investigation group, we had already concluded what we were going to do anyway. And no, he was not in that decision. And I would tell him that to his face if he shows up to another board meeting.
The views William had.
He watched 18. That's right. 18 News Media Group. Yep.
I just want to say thank you everybody for coming out. It's good to see you all out.
Hater.
Just thank you very much.
I did have a couple of things that I wanted to say. I spoke to someone concerning the issues that took place yesterday at the city council meeting. This is somebody from the public, okay? I ain't called nobody. Well, I did call them, but somebody reached out and told me they wanted me to call them. So let me tell the truth about it. And their concerns was when Ms. Jan-Marie spoke, whatever transpired there, that's yesterday, but a member of the public, RL, If you don't know who RL is, he's the gentleman who has some type of speech impediment, but he's very much involved in our Flint politics. And evidently he got up for whatever his reasoning was, but this person sent me several angles of the situation, and if we not had some members of the public jump up, Mr. RL looked like he could have possibly been a victim of something, or that could have went so wrong.
Yes.
I am calling on this board, the residents, the city council, to understand that we will have differences. We will not always agree. People will not always say things that you like. But what we cannot allow, okay, whether they your ops or you they ops, what we cannot allow is our differences to render this city a dead body, okay? Especially concerning the little stuff that we're going back and forth and bickering over. It's so minute when you think about the fact that lives could have been lost yesterday. Not just RL, because once somebody gets to, we all know once that fire starts burning, it's hard to clear that smoke, okay? That could have been totally chaotic. I am calling on us, all of us, to do better. Okay, you might not always like stuff that public speakers are saying. We have to allow it. I mean, at the Ethics and Accountability Board, we never allow speakers to attack people personally, to speak about the issue. If you spoke about an individual, you have to have a complaint against them, flat out, or you shouldn't be speaking on individuals unless something has taken place that they have done. You couldn't come in there with you didn't like them and they did this and you don't think. If they did something to you, put your complaint in. Other than that, this is not the place for you to drag somebody. You can publicly speak, but you can't use it for slander. So we have to be mindful. We have to understand that people have a right to speak to the issues and stuff. But we also have to understand that we as the city, okay, I don't care how the city feel about it. I don't care how the city council feel about it. We can't have our public servants gunning down citizens at the request of city council. Okay, we got enough black eyes. We're not even really over our water crisis. We got our ARPA situation. We can't have that. So I'm asking that all of us be considerate of that. I'm asking that our police officers seriously consider how, if they're going to be involved in these city council meetings and addressing our residents with force, that they make sure that they leave their guns out of it. If you are going to be used in this personal manner, maybe they need to take some wrestling classes or something so you wrestle. You can't shoot nobody. You can subdue somebody, you could restrain somebody. You can't gun somebody down because they don't agree with what you're saying and they refuse to be quiet. Because now we're crossing over into people's constitutional rights. Okay, and right or wrong, that's open for discretion, but what we do know is freedom of speech exists, especially in governmental forms. So we got to work on that. And also, that was the one thing I wanted to say. And I'm also disappointed. I'm going to speak on this. I don't know if this, maybe no, I'll say it for city council. I'll go to city council.
I'll say you're way over your 1 minute.
I'm way over. Okay. Okay, and I yield. And I'm ready to go. I'll be the first one ready to go. So go ahead, y'all.
Because now I want to talk. I'm sorry, I gotta say one thing, Jan. This is big. You know you went over your time yesterday.
Yes.
You know she's gonna take the bait every time because that's Candace Michelle.
Excuse me. You're trying to do something here.
I know, but you weren't just conducting it. You let everybody run over 1 minute, and you cut him off at 3 minutes. But you let each member go over 1 minute. So you're not actually doing it correct. I just want to say one thing about this. That's because I was at that meeting last night.
I'm going to ask you a question right quick. Number one, I told the board member that they was allowed the first time that they need to address the public.
That's right.
I don't need you to conduct my meeting. Just perspective. I another board member wanted to address the public. Okay. I'll say one thing. The public You say one thing, let me tell you, this board does not have a budget. Our husband also have a budget of $250,000 that is mandated by the charter. Okay. Our buzz office. That's my first thing is, one, I heard the thing about the attorney, but it's about every city attorney, all boards for the city of Flint, supposed to be represented, have legal representation there when they meet them. He's not just showing out whether you like it or not. It is the duty of the city attorney to help enforce this charter. It's mandated in the charter. Whether it happens or not, we have no control over that. So I just want to clear those things up. But what the public have to do with this is nothing but a smoke screen. This does not mean that much. This is I'm telling you what, unless you trying to get someone looking somewhere else. The charter has been violated. Yeah. And we're all worried about our mother position that you all, the time you spend worrying about the water crisis and the resident not getting off the private stuff, you spend more time worrying about our buzz office, this board, it's important. It's important,
It's
but we
being
need
fair. We're worried about being fair.
Okay, Joe, just stop, Joe. Joe, come on, stop, Joe. Lord Jesus, stop, Joe. Oh, stop it, damn it, Joe. I can't stand problems.
I've never tried to talk over one, and I like to respect them and let you say what you have to say. And I demand that same respect. Okay, I demand that.
Nick said he ain't playing. Oh, Nick. I'll make a
motion that this meeting be adjourned.
Without objection. They, wait a minute.
Hold on. Ms. King, Carol, that's what I was about to ask.
Did we vote to accept the budget from
Yeah, we did. Did we vote to accept the ombudsman's budget as well?
No.
You gotta go bring it up.
She had to bring it forward. She had to present it.
Okay. Is it ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Tanya, we know. Okay, I like Nick, but I didn't know who Nick was. So we like Nick, Tanya. I like Nick. That's Nick right there.
Our end of the year report. That's what I wanted to discuss before we do our end of the year report. So our committee can get together so that the board can go before city council and present our end of the year report.
I don't know his last name. I can't answer all of that. But his mama got some ARPA funds right there.
Motion made in second. This meeting is adjourned.
I was down thinking about this one. Sorry.